Sorry, this area is for members only, you understand? Mrs. Hamilton's voice cut through the air, cold and sharp like polished steel. The entire gym fell silent. White light spilled over Maya's face, tracing the calm strength in her dark skin and steady eyes. No one laughed, but contempt shimmered quietly in the glances around her. A few people paused mid-stretch, staring as if she were some kind of spectacle. Behind the reception desk, Brad smirked. "We have our own standards here. I'm sure you understand." Maya said nothing. Her fingers tightened around her bag strap, nails pressing faint crescents into her skin. Her breath trembled, not from fear, but from holding back everything burning in her chest. Whispers drifted across the room like wind sliding over glass. Eyes met, brows lifted, a few polite smiles curved like knives. Maya lifted her head. For an instant, the light in her eyes was as sharp as a blade. No reaction, no words, only silence, thick, cold, unyielding. She tightened her grip on the strap and stepped further into the lobby, the stairs clinging to her like shadows. Behind her, the murmurs rose again, but Maya didn't look back. The woman stands in the doorway of Elite Fitness Club, afternoon sunlight cutting harsh shadows across marble floors. Her dark skin catches the light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows, and for a moment, she's frozen in time. 20 years dissolve like morning mist. She sees herself again, 8 years old, pressed against this same glass, watching through fingerprint-smudged windows as people in expensive workout clothes moved through a world she couldn't touch. "Maya," she whispers to herself, stepping forward. The name feels different now. Not Maya Johnson, CEO of Fit Nation Industries. Not the woman who built a $50 million empire from nothing. Just Maya, the girl who used to walk past this place every day, dreaming. The reception desk gleams under recessed lighting. Everything here screams money. The imported Italian marble, the custom steel fixtures, the subtle scent of eucalyptus floating through purified air. Maya adjusts her simple black athletic wear and approaches the counter. She chose these clothes deliberately. No logos, no jewelry, nothing that screams success. Behind the mahogany desk sits Brad, 25 and sculpted like a Greek statue. His platinum hair catches the light as he looks up from his computer screen. His eyes sweep over Maya once, twice, then settle somewhere just past her left shoulder. "Can I help you?" The words carry the warmth of winter concrete. "I'd like to inquire about membership," Maya says. Her voice is steady, professional, the same voice that closed deals worth millions just last week. Brad's fingers pause over his keyboard. "Do you have an appointment?" "I didn't realize I needed one for basic information." "Well, you don't. It's just..." He glances toward the workout floor where a group of women in designer activewear stretch on premium mats. "Our membership process is quite extensive. Thorough background checks, financial verification, references from current members." Maya follows his gaze. She recognizes the type. Old money wives killing time between charity lunches and spa appointments. Women who've never worked a day in their lives but somehow believe they've earned their place here through birthright alone. "I can provide whatever documentation you need," Maya says. Brad finally meets her eyes. Something cold flickers there. "Are you familiar with our fee structure? The initiation fee alone is $15,000. Monthly dues are $1,200, plus the entrance assessment." "Assessment?" "Physical and lifestyle evaluation. $500 non-refundable, just to determine if you're a good fit for our community." The word community drops like a stone into still water. Maya feels the ripples of its meaning spread through the space between them. She's heard this language before. Different words, same message. "I see. And what exactly does this assessment involve?" Brad's smile could freeze fire. "Making sure our new members understand and appreciate the Elite Fitness Club culture. We've worked very hard to maintain a certain standard. Through the glass partition, Maya watches a personal trainer guide a client through a routine. The trainer is young, enthusiastic, completely absorbed in helping someone achieve their goals. This is what fitness should be about, what her company stands for, what she dreamed of as a child pressed against these very windows. Standards, Maya repeats. Such as? Commitment to excellence, respect for tradition, understanding that some things are earned, not simply purchased. The air between them shifts. Other conversations in the lobby grow quieter. A woman with perfectly blown-out silver hair, Mrs. Hamilton, according to her membership badge, glides over from the smoothie bar. Her presence fills the space like expensive perfume. Is there a problem here, Brad? Mrs. Hamilton's voice carries the authority of someone who's never been told no. No problem at all, Mrs. Hamilton. I was just explaining our membership process to this lady. The pause before lady hangs in the air like smoke. Mrs. Hamilton's eyes appraise Maya with the cold calculation of someone examining produce at the market. I see. Mrs. Hamilton turns to Maya. You know, dear, there are several community centers downtown that offer fitness programs. Very affordable. Much more. She pauses, selecting her words like jewelry. Accessible. I prefer this location, Maya says evenly. I'm sure you do. Mrs. Hamilton's laugh tinkles like breaking crystal. But preferences and realities are often different things, aren't they? Elite Fitness Club has maintained its reputation for over 30 years precisely because we understand the importance of compatibility. More members drift closer. Maya feels their attention like spotlights, hot and unwelcome. Conversations halt mid-sentence. The gentle hum of cardio machines seems louder in the sudden quiet. Perhaps, Mrs. Hamilton continues, you might consider whether you'd truly be comfortable here. Our members tend to have certain expectations, certain ways of doing things. It can be quite intimidating for someone from a different background. The words slice clean. Maya's hands remain steady at her sides, but something fundamental shifts behind her eyes. She recognizes this dance, the careful choreography of exclusion dressed up as concern, the gentle violence of suggestion masquerading as advice. What exactly are you trying to say? Maya's voice drops to barely above a whisper. Brad leans forward, emboldened by Mrs. Hamilton's presence. Look, lady, no offense, but this place isn't for everyone. We have a certain clientele here, people who understand quality, who appreciate tradition. Maybe you should try somewhere more suited to your situation. My situation? You know what I mean. Brad's pretense of politeness evaporates. This is Elite Fitness Club. Elite. The kind of place where people like you don't really fit. The words land like physical blows. Maya feels the familiar burn of humiliation rising in her chest, the same fire she felt as a child, as a teenager, as a young woman clawing her way up from nothing. But underneath the hurt, something else stirs, something colder and infinitely more dangerous. People like me, Maya repeats. Yeah, people who probably can't even afford the monthly parking fee, let alone membership dues. This isn't some discount gym chain. We don't do payment plans or sliding scales or whatever it is you're looking for. Mrs. Hamilton nods approvingly. Brad's absolutely right. Elite Fitness Club is for a very specific type of person. Successful people, established people, people who've earned their place in society through hard work and good breeding. Good breeding, Maya says. The words taste like ash. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with knowing your place in the world, dear. There are plenty of wonderful facilities that would be much more appropriate for someone in your position. Maya looks around the lobby. At least a dozen members have gathered now, drawn by the spectacle like moths to flame. Their faces show a mixture of curiosity and satisfaction. the particular pleasure that comes from watching boundaries being reinforced, hierarchies maintained. She reaches into her workout bag and pulls out her phone. Her fingers move with deliberate precision as she scrolls through her contacts. The screen reflects the overhead lights as she finds the number she needs. "What are you doing?" Brad asks, suspicion creeping into his voice. Maya presses call and waits. One ring, two. Then a familiar voice answers. "David Martinez." "David, it's Maya. I'm standing in the lobby of Elite Fitness Club. I need you down here, now." She ends the call and slips the phone back into her bag. The silence that follows feels pregnant with possibility. "Who was that?" Mrs. Hamilton demands. Maya looks at her watch. "You have about 60 seconds to reconsider your words." "Excuse me?" 60 seconds to think about whether this is really the hill you want to die on." Brad laughs, but the sound holds an edge of uncertainty. "Are you threatening us? Because I can call security." "Please do." The elevator across the lobby chimes. The doors slide open with mechanical precision, and David Martinez steps out. He's moving faster than Maya has ever seen him move, his usually perfect composure cracked around the edges. When he sees her standing at the reception desk, surrounded by curious members, his face goes completely white. "Ms. Johnson." His voice carries across the lobby like a gunshot. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were coming." The effect is immediate and absolute. Every conversation stops. Every movement freezes. The very air seems to crystallize around Maya as David crosses the marble floor, his expensive shoes clicking against stone. "Ms. Johnson?" Mrs. Hamilton's voice has lost all of its authority. David reaches them, slightly out of breath. "I apologize profusely. If I had known you were planning to visit." He turns to Brad, whose face has shifted from smug confidence to something approaching terror. "What exactly is happening here?" "I was simply trying to learn about membership options," Maya says calmly. "Your staff has been very educational about your application process." David's eyes sweep the gathered crowd, reading the situation with the practiced skill of someone who's managed crises before. "I see. And what exactly has my staff told you?" "That I should try somewhere more suited to my situation, more appropriate for someone in my position." The words hang in the air like a blade waiting to fall. David closes his eyes for just a moment, as if summoning the strength to deal with what's coming next. "Brad," he says quietly, "in my office. Now." "But sir, I was just following protocol, screening potential members, making sure they're a good fit for—" "Brad, office. Now." "Sir, you don't understand. This woman was trying to get membership without proper documentation, without references, without even proving she could afford—" "Brad!" David's voice cuts through the lobby like a whip crack. "Do you know who this is?" Brad looks from David to Maya and back again. His mouth opens and closes like a fish pulled from water. "This," David says, his voice deadly quiet, "is Maya Johnson, CEO of FitNation Industries. As of 3 days ago, she is the new owner of Elite Fitness Club. Every square inch of this building, every piece of equipment, every contract, everything." The silence that follows is so complete that Maya can hear her own heartbeat. Mrs. Hamilton's expensive handbag slips from her fingers and hits the marble floor with a sound like breaking bones. "Owner?" Brad whispers. $52 million, David continues relentlessly. "Cash purchase. Closed on Tuesday. Ms. Johnson now owns this facility, the 2 locations in Beverly Hills, and the flagship club in Manhattan. Effectively, Brad, she owns your job. Or owned it, until about 30 seconds ago." Maya watches Brad's face cycle through disbelief, horror, and finally desperate calculation. She's seen this look before. The moment when someone realizes their actions have consequences they never considered. "Miss Johnson, I didn't know. You weren't supposed to be here. I mean, you weren't on the schedule. No one told me... No one told you to treat potential members with basic human dignity? Maya's voice is soft, but it carries the weight of absolute authority. No one told you that discrimination is both morally reprehensible and legally actionable? I wasn't discriminating. I was just following our membership guidelines. Your membership guidelines specifically instruct staff to tell people they should know their place in the world based on their appearance. Brad's mouth works soundlessly. Around them, several members have begun backing away, sensing the shift in power like animals before an earthquake. Ms. Johnson, Mrs. Hamilton interjects, her voice now stripped of its earlier confidence. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. Brad is young, inexperienced. I'm sure he didn't mean... What about you? Maya turns the full force of her attention on Mrs. Hamilton. What's your excuse? I was simply trying to help, to suggest alternatives that might be more comfortable. More comfortable for whom? Mrs. Hamilton's perfectly manicured fingers flutter at her throat. For you, of course. I thought you might prefer somewhere less formal. You thought I might prefer somewhere less white. The word drops like a bomb. Mrs. Hamilton's face flushes red, then white, then red again. I never said anything about race. Never even thought. You didn't have to say it. Good breeding. Knowing your place. Appropriate for someone in my position. Your meaning was crystal clear. Maya turns to address the gathered crowd, her voice carrying to every corner of the lobby. I want everyone here to understand something. I didn't buy this club for revenge. I didn't buy it to prove a point. I bought it because 20 years ago, I was 8 years old, standing outside these windows, dreaming of a place where everyone could pursue fitness without judgment, where success was measured by effort, not by the color of your skin or the size of your bank account. She pauses, letting her words sink in. But what I found here today shows me how far we still have to go. David clears his throat nervously. Ms. Johnson, what would you like me to do about this situation? Maya looks at Brad, who stands frozen behind the reception desk like a deer in headlights. Brad's employment is terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort him out after he clears his locker. Ms. Johnson, please, Brad stammers. I have student loans, rent. I need this job. You should have thought about that before you decided that someone's worth as a human being could be determined by their appearance. She turns to Mrs. Hamilton. As for your membership, Mrs. Hamilton, it's revoked. No refund on your annual dues. You'll receive written notice by the end of the week. You can't do that. I've been a member here for 15 years. My husband will hear about this. I'm sure he will. David, please call security to escort Mrs. Hamilton from the premises. This is outrageous, discriminatory. I'll sue. Maya's smile is winter ice. Please do. I look forward to explaining to a judge exactly what you said to me today, in front of witnesses, with security camera footage for evidence. Mrs. Hamilton's face goes through another color change. Around them, other members begin edging toward the exits, suddenly remembering urgent appointments elsewhere. David, Maya continues, effective immediately, Elite Fitness Club is closed for comprehensive review and retraining. All staff will be required to complete anti-discrimination training before returning to work. Any employee who refuses will be terminated. How long will we be closed? As long as it takes. I'd rather lose a month of revenue than continue operating a business that makes people feel unwelcome based on their appearance. David nods, pulling out his phone to start making calls. Around them, the remaining members disperse like smoke, conversations resuming in hushed, urgent tones. Maya stands in the center of the lobby, surrounded by the wreckage of assumptions and entitlements. The afternoon light still streams through the windows, but something fundamental has shifted. The space feels different now, cleaner somehow. Brad appears at the reception desk with a cardboard box containing his personal items. His face is blotchy and red, tears threatening at the corners of his eyes. Ms. Johnson, I know what I said was wrong. I know I screwed up, but please, I'm begging you. I can change. I can learn. Just give me another chance. Maya looks at him for a long moment. Brad, do you know what the real tragedy is here? He shakes his head. You had the opportunity to be someone's first positive experience with this place. You could have been the person who made them feel welcome, valued, excited about their fitness journey. Instead, you chose to be the person who made them feel small. That's not a training issue. That's a character issue. I can work on my character. You can work on your character somewhere else. Security arrives. Two men in crisp uniforms who handle the situation with professional discretion. Brad leaves quietly, his cardboard box clutched against his chest like armor. Mrs. Hamilton makes one final attempt at dignity, gathering her purse and striding toward the exit with her chin raised. But Maya sees the way her hands shake, the way her perfect composure cracks around the edges. When the lobby finally empties, Maya and David stand alone among the marble and steel and broken expectations. Quietly. The cost of rebuilding everything from the ground up weighs heavily in the space between them. Maya walks to the floor-to-ceiling windows and places her palm against the glass. The same glass she pressed her face against 2 decades ago. The same barrier that once seemed insurmountable. What's the plan moving forward? David asks, his voice carefully neutral. She turns from the window, decision crystallizing in her mind. We're going to tear down every policy that allows discrimination to hide behind the word standards. We're going to retrain every employee to understand that fitness is a human right, not a privilege. And we're going to make sure that any child who stands outside these windows sees possibility, not exclusion. David nods, already mentally calculating the logistics. The other members won't all be happy about the changes. Then they'll find other places to work out. Maya's voice carries the finality of steel. I'd rather have a half-empty gym filled with decent people than a packed facility built on prejudice. A week later, Maya sits in the newly renovated lobby. The marble remains, but the atmosphere has transformed completely. Where once hung photos of Elite's founding members, all wealthy, all white, all male, now displays images from the community. Local high school athletes, senior citizens in water aerobics classes, a young mother teaching her daughter to use the rowing machine. The morning rush brings a different energy. Carlos, the new front desk manager, greets each member by name. His smile reaches his eyes as he helps an elderly gentleman navigate the new member app. Behind him, the staff moves with purpose, their training evident in every interaction. Maya watches from her office as a teenage girl approaches the counter. The girl's clothes are clearly secondhand, her sneakers held together with athletic tape. But Carlos doesn't see any of that. He sees potential. First time visiting? Carlos asks warmly. The girl nods, nervous energy radiating from her slight frame. I heard about your youth scholarship program. On the news. Absolutely. Let me get you set up with our youth coordinator. She'll show you around, help you design a program that fits your goals. Maya's chest tightens as she watches the interaction unfold. The girl's face transforms as Carlos treats her not like a charity case, but like a valued future member. This is what she dreamed of creating. This is what made every dollar of the $52 million worth it. Her phone buzzes. A text from David. Membership diversity up 180% in the first week. Revenue down 15%, but trending upward. Some complaints from former members, but 3 times as many compliments. The community center partnership is working. Maya sets the phone aside and returns her attention to the lobby. A group of women in hijabs laughs together as they head to the women's changing area. An older man with a prosthetic leg chats with a personal trainer about adaptive equipment. The teenage girl emerges from her tour, beaming, a temporary guest pass clipped to her shirt. This is what revolution looks like, Maya thinks. Not dramatic confrontations or righteous speeches, but small daily acts of inclusion. Doors opening instead of closing, possibilities expanding instead of contracting. The afternoon light slants through the windows at the same angle it did a week ago, but everything else has changed. The space breathes differently now. The conversations flow with genuine warmth instead of performative politeness. Even the air seems cleaner, purged of the toxic atmosphere that once poisoned every interaction. Maya's assistant knocks on her office door. "Miss Johnson, there's someone here to see you. Says his name is Brad. Former employee?" Through her office window, Maya sees him standing in the lobby. He looks smaller than she remembers, his confident swagger replaced by something that might be humility. He's not alone. A young black woman stands beside him, her hand resting supportively on his arm. "Send him up." Brad enters her office with careful steps, his companion close behind. His eyes dart around the space, taking in the changes, the community photos, the mission statement prominently displayed, the diverse faces smiling from the walls. "Ms. Johnson, thank you for seeing me. This is my girlfriend, Keisha. She wanted to meet you." Keisha steps forward, extending her hand. "Ms. Johnson, I wanted to thank you for what you did, for what you're doing here." Maya shakes her hand, studying the young woman's face. "I'm not sure I understand." "Brad told me what happened, what he said to you, how he acted." Keisha's voice is steady, but Maya catches the underlying tension. "I've been trying to get him to understand what it feels like to be judged before you even open your mouth, to be written off because of how you look." Brad shifts uncomfortably. "I thought I was doing my job, following protocols. I didn't realize—" He trails off, struggling with words that don't come easily. "I didn't realize how my actions affected people, how they made people feel." "And now you do?" "I'm learning. Keisha's been helping me understand. We've been volunteering at community centers, talking to people about their experiences. I see things differently now." Maya leans back in her chair, assessing the man before her. Gone is the arrogant certainty that defined their first encounter. In its place sits something rawer, more honest. "What do you want from me, Brad?" "Nothing. I mean, I'm not asking for my job back. I know I don't deserve that. I just wanted to apologize. Really apologize. Not because I got fired, but because I was wrong. Because I hurt you and probably dozens of other people over the years without even realizing it." Keisha squeezes his hand. "He's been working with a diversity trainer, reading books, attending workshops, trying to understand his privilege and how to use it better." Maya nods slowly. "That's good. But understanding privilege intellectually is different from feeling the weight of discrimination personally." "I know," Brad says. "I'll probably never fully understand what it feels like to walk into a room and have people assume you don't belong, but I'm committed to making sure I never make anyone feel that way again." They talk for another 20 minutes. Brad shares what he's learned, the uncomfortable truths he's had to confront about himself and the systems he participated in without question. Keisha describes her own experiences with discrimination, the subtle and not-so-subtle ways she's been made to feel unwelcome in spaces that should have been neutral. As they prepare to leave, Brad pauses at the door. "Ms. Johnson, I know this doesn't change anything, but I'm glad you bought this place. I'm glad you fired me. I needed to lose everything to realize what I was becoming." After they leave, Maya returns to her window. The evening crowd is arriving, teachers finishing their shifts, construction workers still dusty from job sites, students cramming workouts between classes. The diversity isn't performative or forced. It's natural, organic, the result of removing barriers rather than building them. Her reflection stares back from the glass, superimposed over the bustling activity below. For a moment, she sees herself as she was, the 8-year-old girl with her face pressed against this same window, dreaming of a world that seemed impossibly far away. That girl could never have imagined this moment, could never have conceived that she would one day own not just this building, but the power to transform it completely. could never have believed that her childhood hurt would become the foundation for systemic change. Maya's phone buzzes again. This time it's a news alert. Elite Fitness Club's transformation inspires industry-wide changes. The article details how other gym chains are reviewing their membership policies, implementing diversity training, and creating scholarship programs for underserved communities. Change ripples outward like stones thrown into still water. What started as one woman's humiliation in a marble lobby has become a movement, inspiring businesses across the country to examine their own practices and assumptions. The security guard makes his evening rounds, nodding respectfully as he passes Maya's office. Through the windows, the city lights begin to twinkle. The building settles into its quiet nighttime rhythm, but the energy of transformation still hums through its walls. Maya gathers her things and heads for the elevator. As she passes through the lobby, she pauses at the memorial wall, not for the dead, but for the dreams that almost died here. Pictures of scholarship recipients, community partnerships, success stories from people who found not just fitness, but belonging. At the center hangs a simple plaque. Everyone deserves to dream here. The words reflect back at her as she pushes through the glass doors into the evening air. Behind her, Elite Fitness Club stands transformed, no longer a fortress of exclusion, but a beacon of possibility. Sometimes the person you underestimate becomes the one who changes everything.